Good day, welcome back to this Python course. So in our last episode, we talked about operators in Python where we learned the various operators that we can use in our Python program. In this episode, we'll be talking about conditional statement. We learn how to control the flow of our programs in Python. This will help us to cater for situations where we want a particular task to be performed based on certain conditions in our program. So let's see how we can implement this in our code. Please, if you are watching this video and you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly hit the subscription button so you will not miss any video I'll be uploading. And don't forget to like this video. So let's get into it. In this episode, we are actually going to create a program that we can use to grade students based on the scores that they will get. We can achieve this with the use of else if statement to check the score that each student will get, and based on that score, we award a grade to that particular student. So let's see how we implement this in Python. The student grade checker, what are the inputs that will be taken from the user? So first, we need the student name, the course title, and the score that the student will be getting from that particular course. Okay, so let's take the name of the student, enter the name of the student, then course title, enter the course title, then we take the score, so say score, create a variable student name, take the name of the student, create a variable course title to take the course title, then create another variable called score. This will take the score, the mark that the student will get from this particular course that will be taken from that student. Actually, the logic that we are coming to implement here will be based on the score that student will get. So that is what we are coming to use for checking our conditions. So let me quickly comment here. Comment here too. So this is where we are coming to implement the logic. Our first condition that we want to implement is that we should make sure that the user should not put any number that is less than 0 or greater than 100, because the mark that the student should get should be between from 0 to 100. It shouldn't be a negative number, and it should not also be greater than 100. So let's implement it. So in Python, we use if else. This is else if. So if the first condition is not met, then the second condition. This is where you actually have multiple conditions that you want to consider, and the last one is else. So after all the conditions, if all of them is not met, then the opposite. If all those conditions are not met, then what do you want to do? We implement that. So we use the else statement to cater for that. Our first condition that we want to implement in our program is that we want to make sure that the score that the user will be inputting should not be a negative number, or it should not also be greater than 100. So we take the score if score is less than 0 or score is greater than 100, then print something. So what do we want to execute it? We want to print sorry, the score is out of range. So we want to tell the user that the score is out of range. You can see that PyCharm is giving me warning here. This actually makes me angry, because in our last episode we learned that any input that we take from the user through the console will actually be converted to a string. So when we want to use it to perform mathematical calculation or computation, then we have to cast it. We have to convert it to a numeric data type before we can use it to make our comparison. So let's quickly do that. Cut it, then use the float function to cast it. We are using float instead of the integer because float will take care of both integer and floating point number. So it's good for you to use float function because that one will cater for scores with decimal. If you use the integer function, it will truncate some scores, which will affect the grading system. So this is our first condition. We are checking if the score is less than 0 and the score is also greater than it. We should print this. And our next condition that we want to implement, give the student grade A. If the student scores between from 80% to 100%, we give that particular student grade A. We just use else if score is greater than or equal to 80 and score is less than or equal to 100. So we are checking if the score is greater than or equals 80 and the score is also less than or equal to 100. I'll print the name of the student name, then I'll break the next line and print course title Then you bring the course title. So course title. We break the line again. The next line we print what maybe the score. So score. Then grade A. You can actually use different print statement to print the name of the student, print the course of the student, the course title of the student. Then you print the score and you print the grade that you give to the student. But I'm just using the single print statement to print this. And last episode we learned that the f-string function helps us to embed objects in print statement. So that is it. So you just print, then f, you print single quotes, then whatever you want. So where you want to place a variable there, you bring the curly braces and put the variable inside. So this will be course title, then the course title that the user will input to print it here. Score, the score that the student will get, then you display it here. Here grade, then the grade that we want to give to the student, then we'll display it here. So you see here, I'm not enclosed it in curly braces because it is not an object. It's just a string, a letter that I'm displaying. So this one is not a variable that I've created. So we don't need to put it in parentheses. Take note of that. This will actually take care of only marks on scores from 80 to 100. But what if the person gets 79, 71, 70? So we have to also consider that. LF, this is a simple way of doing it. The student gets 75. Then we'll print, copy the same thing and print it, and here the grade we give the student B plus. What I've done here is actually the same thing here. We start from 75. So here 75 is inclusive. If you get 75 and above, you will get B plus. But here 80 is not inclusive because 80 has been taken care of here. So this is a simple way of doing it. I like it this way. There are so many ways of expressing it, but this will tell you that score here is in between the range here 75 to 80, but 80 is not inclusive. There PyCharm is underlining it for you. So when you just bring it here, come here and choose simplify chain comparison, and you click on that, see that it has reorganized it for you. It has formatted it very well for me. So this is the simple way of doing it. Also do that. See that it looks nice. I'll copy this and paste it in our next condition that we want to take care of. So here it will be 70 to 75. Then we give the student grade B. We move to the next condition, paste. Okay, so here it will be 65 to 70. Then the grade will be C plus. We give the student C plus. Next condition, we consider from 60 to 65. Then we give the student grade C. 55 to what? To 60, right? Then we give the student what? D plus. Paste it. Then the next range will be from 50 to 55. Then we give the student D. Paste here, we'll make it 40 to 50. Then we give the student grade E. Implement the first condition, then you copy everything and then make sure that you change the condition. So here the range is from 80 inclusive and 100 inclusive. From 80 to 100 we get grade A. Starting from 75 to 80, here the condition is valid from 75 to 79.999. Immediately it hits 80, this condition turns false, so it runs to the next condition. The same thing happens here. 70 is inclusive, the score is in between 70. If the score is 70, then the student gets B. If the score is 74.99, the student gets B. 75 is inclusive here, so you don't need to include it here. So this one, the score is less than. So if this condition is not met, 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 this range is not met, and this range is not met, what will be the possible condition? And if this range is not met, what will be the possible condition? That is where else will not come. So just like else, then print the name of the student first, then give the student grade F. So meaning else, meaning from 39 coming down, if you get 39 coming down, you get grade F. You get grade F. Let's run our program and see what we have done. Python. So enter the name of the student, type code, course Python. 787. Then student get grade A. Let's run it again. Let's put typical code here, C++, then 35. We get F. Run it again. Graph, course title. Let's put something like math, and we'll put negative number there. So sorry, the score is out of range. Let's run it and test it again. GSA. The score 12. The student gets F. So assuming, I want to restrict people that will be using this kind of software, so you can just take another input, say ID. So here we want to implement some restriction here. So let's say if ID. So what I'll do here, I'll just convert this one to dot global. So I'll just convert whatever that I'm getting here to a lowercase so that I can convert it. So if ID equal, remember it will be a string 1 to AB. Then all these conditions, so all these conditions will now be executed. Okay, all these conditions will be executed, else. So we're checking if the ID is correct. So let's change this password to 12AB. If this is our password or an ID that you input, if it is not correct, then this will be printed if it is correct. So let's run it and see. Student name, enter student score. So 78. Your ID, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So it means run ID can't check grade. Let's run it again and let's see. This time Python score 90, then ID 1 to AB. Then it gives us the result. So type code, course title, grade, and the score. So basically that is how you can implement nested if statement. So assuming you have some condition that you want to also consider, even inside this you can use it. So basically that is it. Program is, or you have to type all these things. And if the user mistakenly put a letter there instead of a number, then you run into an error. So this value error could not convert a string to data. So here, like we are supposed to be the value that we take here, we convert it to a string. So we can only cast numeric numbers values to floating point numbers, but we cannot do so with strings. So why do we do that? You have to implement a try and except here to catch that error. Probably the user mistakenly gets a wrong input, which will be a letter or a string. So you have to take consideration to that. So this is solution to that. So you put where the error will be raised, then you try and you accept that value. So the score, this is where the user will actually get it wrong. The user will actually, where we'll be doing the casting. So you just cast the error there, then you print invalid number there. Here is virtually the same thing, but just that here we create a function that would take the username, course, grade, and score. So you pass the student name, the course title, then the score, the grade, and the whole of this is a function for the grade checker. So when you just call it, and everything will be. So here you just call and pass the arguments there, and you're cool to go with that. That is it. Go through. You can pause the video and go through. You can modify it to your own choice. If you have any question that you want to ask, feel free to reach in the comment section. If not like this video, if this video is helpful, kindly hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. Okay, this is it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel for more Python tutorials. Let's see you in the next episode where we'll be talking about manipulation of strings. Let's get into it right now.